I want to introduce you to a concept I call digital fasting. If you are looking to lose weight and you're looking also to find a mental space of peace and contentment, reduce the stress, move forward in health, I think you'll really like this concept. If you're familiar with the concept of fasting, we're talking about opening up some space in the body, in the diet, where we are giving the body an opportunity to clear through the food that we ate previously so that we can get down to that deeper layer, run off the storage system a while, release some of that energy, start running autophagy processes that are cleaning out the cells, resetting the metabolism. So many things positive can happen in that space. Then we talk about the flow. We are mind and body. So let's move over into the mental space. You say, how do we create a mental space that is mirroring the fasting space? We clear out dysfunctional ideas, thinking, emotions. Okay, that's the meditation space that we're heading toward. And in a society that is just full of distractions going every which way, attention economy is like everybody shouting and saying, look at me and look at this and be stressed at this. And algorithms are trying to get us like angry at people. Whoa, it's like we want to take a deep breath, say, what about digital fasting? So if you think about the mirror that physical fasting is getting us, you hear intermittent fasting. So people will say something like 16-8, meaning I'm having an 8-hour eating window and then 16 hours food-free, including overnight. Well, what if we took a pattern like that and brought it over into this mental space? How much benefit could it give to our mental and emotional space to do some 16-8 of digital fasting, meaning shut off the devices, silence the phone, turn off the screens, get out an actual pen and paper, do some analog work, and let the noise, silence the noise a little bit. See, part of the benefit of a 16-8 fasting in the physical body is like we've just made it very clear what's happening, and then we let the digestive system shut down a little bit. How about we make things very clear? It's like maybe we have if we like to eat at noon, we like to eat dinner at 6. What if we had, check the socials at noon, right? And then check some news and emails like in here if we can swing it sometimes. And all of a sudden we cordon off this whole space without it. Like, would you feel some withdrawal for a little bit? You might get a little bit. But you'll see the racing thoughts, be like, I wonder what this person said. I wonder what is happening in the world. I wonder what is your thing? What are the markets doing? Who said what? And who typed in all caps today, Oh, but what if we got in a habit of it? If you've practiced fasting and you realize, do you remember the first couple times you did it? And it was like, oh, this is like, it's a change, right? And you feel like, okay, because so much of what feels normal to us is just based on our habits and patterns and what we're doing. But then we switch it. We say, no, this is valuable space. This fasting space is so valuable. It's giving my body a gift. If it was a pill, I would buy it, but I can't. We got to give it to the body. How about a similar gift to the mind? What would it be like to flow through the whole morning? Do you ever do it? Where it's like, we didn't check the phone the first thing. No doom scrolling is happening. And we just flow through that morning. How much time would it open up to do every other good health thing that we could do, where we are moving our body, trying to get in? Maybe it's before work, okay? Instead of being stuck on something, where it's like, move the body, take some time for a little bit of a meditation space, even if it's just 1 minute. Take 1 beautiful minute of stillness and just see the anxiety go away. Okay, so that pattern, 16-8, what if you want to crank it up? You say OMAD in the diet, 1 meal a day, very powerful process to open up fasting space in the diet. Say, how about I say ODAD? ODAD, 1 digital a day, okay? What if, just like we're waiting to dinner to eat, what if we flowed through our day, use, if you have to use an electronic resource for work, okay, but protect yourself, keep all the notifications and everything away. And then you say, I'm going to give myself 1 hour here. I'm going to connect with the socials, the news, if you got to do it, okay? But now I've cordoned off the whole entire rest of the day. And what would life be like to do it? I'll tell you my experience of doing something like that, just like starting an OMAD. If you've never done it, by the time you get to 1 o'clock and you're like, oh man, I can barely stand it. But then a few days in and you're like, oh my gosh, like my thinking is better. It is more clear. So I'm so in favor of it. And then what about the pinnacle experience? You say to fast for a whole day, so countercultural in a consumption culture. And so how about a digital fasting for a whole day? Like, have you done it? Like, it's just so wild to me to think, oh, you have to be almost so privileged in the world to even be able to do it. Look, anybody, you say, let's carve out the space to do it. Digital fasting as a wellness practice to recognize that for all the benefits of, stuff like this, okay, man, it is hitting the mindset. It is not creating a calm, centered space. And if we're trying to move forward in health and we want something that is joyful and sustainable, we say we have got to find a space that feels calm and centered and is actually a wellness process. If you're trying to do some health process and it isn't helping you feel better and joyful, like the chance that you stick with it, like pretty low. So here's the thing about a digital fasting for a whole day. Unlike a fasting for a whole day, I say connect with your medical team, especially if you take any medications. Make sure you're staying safe. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're doing all these things. Okay, digital fasting, no risk, no harm. I feel confident saying no harm going to come to you by keeping the social media shut off for a little while. So lean into it. I say it can be a practice. What if it was hard for you to do? You say, what if it was just 5 minutes? I'm going to delay looking at the phone for even 5 minutes. And then we just start from there. And maybe next week, 6. We're not on any rush. That's the thing that I try to do. Bring in the actual fasting space. Very calm and gentle. Training ourselves, building up strength in the body. That is a big underappreciated process of fasting. How trained are we to use the energy within us? How about training the mind? Right? How strong is the mind? How content is it? Okay, maybe a process of a digital fasting is the first steps of opening up space, retraining the mind how to find peace, contentment, centeredness, to be grounded here in this present moment. That is the mindset that helps us move forward in peace and contentment. If you'd like to hear a lot more about this type of thinking, dive in with me here on the channels. Check out the archive of all the live sessions and join me live. Love to connect. Talk more about these things as we journey together on our way toward better health. Have a great day.